Joy. Do us a favor and leave a review, a rating, and be sure to subscribe. Now let's get to this week's episode. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Homeowner Prep Podcast. We have a very special interview today with Utopia Homes. Oftentimes we get questions about rent-to-own programs and what does it consist of? Is it right for a particular client or a particular buyer? And so today we wanted to bring on one of the best in the country to talk about the program, talk about their company, what they do, what makes them different, and ultimately what makes it a solution, a temporary solution for those who are looking to buy their first home. So we do have Utopia Homes on today. We have co-founder Lord Munjal, who is the co-founder and CEO of Utopia Homes. So welcome, Lord. I want to just welcome you and thank you for this opportunity to chat with you.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate your having me over on your fantastic show.
Absolutely. So the first question that we often get is, what is a lease to own or a rent to own program? Can you kind of just qualify that for our clients?
Sure, Eric, happy to. So basically, rent to own program like Utopia Homes gives the customer the option to choose the home of their choice from whatever is available out there. So, from millions of homes available out there, you can choose the home of your choice. And if you are a pre approved customer of Utopia, then we give you a budget. And now, if you select a certain home, then Utopia goes out and buys that home and rents it to you. So that's where the rent part comes. Now, about the to own part, the second part, the way it works is that as you move into the unit of your choice, we also give you an option to buy that home at a predetermined price in the next 3 to 5 years. So what it does is that, uh, you know, in the next, call it 1 year to 5 years, the program makes more and more customers ready to become a homeowner because most of the people who come to us are not ready to become a homeowner for one of the three following reasons. Reason number one, not good enough credit score. Reason number two, not enough down payment. And reason number three, maybe they are in unstable jobs or unstable relationships, so they don't know whether they should go ahead and buy the home just as yet. They want to try out the neighborhood where they are at, find some more stability in their careers and their personal lives before they make the home purchase. However, in their mind, it's very satisfying for them to have this option that, okay, if things pan out the way they are hoping they would pan out, then at least they would have the option to buy the home and seize the upside of the home price appreciation with the arrangement like that. And
Awesome.
in case things change in their personal or professional lives, then they can just walk away rather than dealing with the 6 to 7% disposition cost of a typical home.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's important to point out is that, obviously we're going to jump into some of that. We have an ideal situation where, folks are picking a property based on where they want to be, and this is the home that they absolutely want to buy. But then life happens. Plans may change. And so as we talk about, that time frame and determining a price, you guys are purchasing the property of their choice at a particular price. Do you set what they buy it back from you? Like, is that every year that you're setting a new price? So let's say they're in a 3-year term with you, but after 1 year, they're ready to go. They want to buy. Is that a different price than it would be 3 years from now? Because obviously homes appreciate over time.
Totally. And yes, it will be. So, couple of things that work out in the benefit of the customer. One, because all our offers are all cash offers, and we have a very good understanding of the local markets in which we are operating. And we are operating in around 26 states now, Eric. So, since we have granular understanding of each and every neighborhood in which we operate, we can get a better deal for the home selected by our customers. And this benefit gets passed on to them only because the cost basis for them are lower. So let's say, for example, there are two people. One of them is buying a home and has a mortgage commitment in their back pocket. And let's say that they buy the home for $100, and I'm just making up the numbers for the sake of convenience of
Sure.
math. So Utopia can go on because we can do faster closing. We don't have any financial contingencies because we're all cash buyers. So we can get the same property for, call it, 94 to $95, and that $5 to $6 benefit now could be passed on to our customers, so that when they buy the property, they get that benefit right off the bat. To answer the second part of your question, the price varies from period to period. You took the example of a 3-year term, so let's stick with that. After a year, we do a quarterly adjustment in pricing, and give or take a few, the quarterly adjustment is around 1% or so. So a property price increases by 1% every quarter. So as and when you're ready, you can buy the home back from us at that predetermined price, which is given to you around the time when you're moving in and signing the lease agreement with Utopia Homes.
And so I think the biggest concern there would be, okay, well, obviously we expect home prices to continue to go up. And that's one of the reasons why this is a great temporary solution, because, you're kind of getting in, and like you said, you're able to buy the home at a better price because there's a cash offer quick close, which I totally get and understand. But if the home, say, is starts to depreciate as you get near the term end, a lot of these rent to own clients may say, well, what happens then? Is there ever a chance of me buying back the house from you and paying more than what it's worth?
Happy to explain the mechanics in a situation like that as well, Eric. So the way it works is that if a home, God forbid, let's say, depreciate in a 3-year time window, which could happen and has happened in the past over small periods as well, since you have the option to buy, not the obligation to buy, you can walk away. So the risk is borne by Utopia Homes. All you lose is the 2% option premium that you might have paid for the property.
Got it.
So
Got
your
it.
disposition cost, which would have been 6 to 7% plus any potential depreciation that could have happened, that situation could very well be avoided if you go for a Utopia rent to own program.
Got it. So at most, yeah, you walk away. There's a 2% fee for walking away from the deal, but you're not gonna buy a home that's undervalued. You're not gonna pay more than what the home is worth at the end of the day. And if you were the owner over that time period, then yeah, you may be just suffering the depreciation and be stuck with a home that is worth less than what it was. I get that. When you say qualifying or getting approved by Utopia Homes, what does that entail? What do I need to do in order to qualify and get approved in order to use your program?
So our eligibility criteria is very simple. It's given on our website www.utopiahomes.us as well. I encourage all your audience viewers to check out our site. And in broad strokes, the eligibility criteria is that you must have a FICO of 550 or above. You should have a DTI, which is debt to income ratio, of less than 50%, which means that there shouldn't be way too much debt on your personal balance sheets.
Right.
Uh, Third thing is that you need to put down 1 to 3% of the deposit money. And these are the three primary criteria that we look for, besides 12 months of consistent payment history, no bad debts or charge offs on the last 12 months of your credit statement. And what we do is, when you come in and embrace the Utopia program, we only try to bring in people that we think could be ready for a mortgage in 1 to 3 year time window. And we spoke about the deterrents which could prevent people from getting the mortgage. One, impaired credit or not good enough credit. So what we do is, at the end of every month, when the payment gets made by the customer, we report it back to the credit bureaus. So over a period of time, that consistent payment to Utopia Homes improves your credit score. Why? Because your monthly payment for your home, for most households, is the biggest expense that you have.
Right.
So when credit bureaus monitor that and factor that into their calcs, they most customers would experience a massive uptick in their FICO scores. The second thing that Utopia does is, every month we do a credit back to your Utopia wallet. Over a period of time, the intention is that we qualify you for Freddie, Frenny, or a FHA loan. So you should have enough savings in your Utopia wallet that you could easily qualify for a mortgage. So down payment is not a challenge.
Got
The
it.
other beautiful facet of Utopia program, Eric, is that for the 2% that you deposit in Utopia wallet, we also offer you 20% return that gets added to your Utopia wallet that you can use for your home purchase. So going back to the previous example of $100 home, let's say you have put down $2 into the Utopia wallet. Every year you make 20% on the $2 of the deposit that you made to Utopia. So in this example, 20% of $2 would be 40 cents.
Hmm.
So every year your money grows by 40 cents. So your $2 at the end of year one become $2.40. At the end of year two become $2.80, so on and so forth. That's why Utopia program is called rent, earn, and own program. Because not just are you renting, you're also earning for your on your deposit, and then finally owning the property, because we try to bring in customers who we think could qualify for a mortgage in this time window.
And that is definitely something that differentiates your program, because we hear a lot of rent to own programs that are forced savings, forced savings, where the market rate is this, but you're going to pay a little more, and that portion is being saved for you, so that way you're ready to buy, and it goes towards your down payment when you're ready to buy. But you're actually giving a percentage, an earned percentage on that forced savings as well, right?
Totally, I think
Oh.
you nailed it on the head.
So, when you're qualifying folks, and you say you're in 26 states, so somebody, a visitor, can go to your website and see what states you're already in. Is there an expectation that you guys will be in all 50 states? Are there states that you're trying to avoid? What's the growth pattern here?
Over a period of time, the number of states would increase from the current 26 states, although I don't see that going all the way to 50. And the reason is that our model works in the states where the rental yields are reasonable. So I'm based out of New York. I know you are based out of California. And unfortunately, in states like New York and California, because property prices are way too high, the rental yield is very, very low. So it becomes a cap gains play, and that's not conducive to our current model. So we
Right.
may launch a different product in these states, but the current product is more conducive to the states in Midwest and Southeast of the country.
And to break that down to layman's terms, so there's when home prices are so high, your mortgages are a lot higher, and the rents just don't cover that. A lot of investors have a hard time in California and New York and somewhat in Florida, but it's really hard for rents to cover that mortgage, and so that's basically what you're saying. Those yields just aren't there. So I get it totally. If somebody is in the program, you guys are paying out an interest. You're not charging an interest, but there's an more than market value as far as what they're paying in rent. Is that correct?
The rents are very well aligned with the market rates. Not just that, unlike a typical landlord tenant situation where the landlord can do whatever they want to do once your lease or an annual lease comes up for renewal, they can increase your rates significantly. With Utopia, you have the certainty. We do not increase your rates significantly. There is a very minuscule inflation adjustment to your annual rates. Not just that, our customers have the flexibility to make any changes which make them feel more at home, ranging from painting the walls according to their liking, uh, putting a tot lot in the backyard if they like, changing the landscaping if they like. These are not the things that a typical landlord would give the tenant a freedom to do. But because it's a rent to own program, and the expectation is that most of our customers would end up buying these homes, we want for them to feel at home, and make changes to their surroundings which are conducive to their preferences and lifestyles.
And that does kind of bring me back to maybe the question of costs. We all know that being a homeowner, there's certain costs there. Even purchasing a home, there's certain additional costs in the home buying process. Does the renter have to have an agent for one, and then for two, are they responsible for paying for home inspection and pest inspection and these other additional costs, escrow, things of that nature, when you guys are acquiring the property?
Sure. So happy to expand. Your question is two pronged, so allow me to answer it accordingly. Uh, Technically, a customer may have an agent or may not have an agent. In case the customer doesn't have an agent, we can assign an agent from our preferred network of agents in that city to the customer as well. Having an agent in the equation helps the customer as well as Utopia, because agent is the eyes and ears on behalf of Utopia, and is also helping the customer in getting the home of their choice, showing them the different properties, giving them an overall lay of the land, and discussing other things pertaining to the property with the customer. So even if the customer doesn't have an agent, that's not a deal breaker. They can apply through Utopia program, and we can assign them a Utopia agent network member who is also a realtor and a licensed agent in that area. As far as the other costs are concerned, escrow, closing, and whatnot, again, since Utopia is in a better position as an institutional buyer to negotiate these rates, we make sure that either seller takes care of those expenses, and if not, then very small portion gets attributed to Utopia homes of these closing costs and escrow expenses and whatnot. And whatever small amount gets attributed to us becomes part of the acquisition price, which would have been the case had the customer purchased the property anyways. But net upfront, the customer doesn't have to pay any of those costs.
Okay. And I really want to make sure that, especially if, these are first time home buyers and they're not used to the process, are we making sure that the home is getting the inspection? Are we making sure that it's a value and the property is sound? I think that's the biggest concern that I have.
So fantastic question, Eric, and I really appreciate that question, because that's very important for our customers as well as for Utopia. We do not want to set them up for failure, and what we do is every offer that we write, as I was mentioning, we do not have financial contingencies involved,
Right.
but we do have two pronged contingency. One is around inspection, and the second one is around appraisals, and that protects our customers from ending up buying a lemon. Why? Because inspection makes sure that there are no hidden expenses involved, from massive roof repair costs to termite removal costs to HVAC costs, to you name it. And appraisal also ensures that the property is valued at either the same price as we are paying or higher than the price that we are paying, so that there is buffer for the customer, and when the time comes and the customer wants to buy the home, the home is already accretive for them.
Your terms, I know you mentioned a 3 to 5 year. What's the longest and the shortest term that you guys have?
So Eric, the way it works is that we don't prevent the customer from buying the home from Utopia. As soon as the customer is ready, and this could be as soon as 1 month,
Okay.
the customer can buy the home from Utopia. And the typical lease term is 3 years. And on case by case basis, we could extend it by 1 year. And on case by cases, again, we can extend by 1 more year. So 3 plus 1 plus 1. That's why we call it the 3-1-1 program.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, and that was going to lead into my next question was a contingency. After 3 years, if they're not ready yet, obviously you've been helping them get ready. You've been reporting to their credit, reports on their rents being on time. Do you guys provide like any coaching or reference to, some type of financial coaching or credit repair or anything like that?
We do provide a financial coaching. So, for example, we don't want the customer who is working with us toward the goal of becoming a homeowner to make financially unsound decisions. So, like, for
Go
example,
buy a car, right?
Ferrari and put it on your balance sheet would be like shooting yourself in the foot,
Right.
unless you have a major bonus coming down the pipe for you.
Right.
So so we encourage them not to make such decisions, because that could upset the apple cart for the mortgage company when the time comes and they are looking for a mortgage to buy the home.
And if they, when they're ready, like let's say it's 6 months into their agreement, they feel like they're ready, they have some money set aside, maybe some money came to them that was unexpected, they've been working on their credit and their budget and getting ready. When they reach out to a lender to get qualified for a mortgage, does it have to be your lender? Can they have their own lender? What is that process?
No, actually, we believe that customer is the king. So customer throughout the customer journey with Utopia has the freedom to choose the home of their choice to move into. And when the time comes, they have the freedom to choose whichever mortgage company, whichever escrow company, whichever title company they want to go with. If they come to us and ask for our recommendation, we are happy to make the connections, but we don't give them the Hobson's choice of choosing the one that we have selected for them. 100% freedom to choose whichever company they want to go with.
Okay. And that's appreciated because I think at the end of the day, we want to make sure that, buyers have the opportunity not only to choose their agent, choose their lender, make sure that they're buying a sound investment. These are all the things that we're looking for. And then when they're in these agreements, recognizing that this is a temporary solution. The goal is for you to buy. We if you have a 3 year term, yes, you have the option for an additional year, but we want you to be ready in 3 years, right? So we want them to be prepared for that. So I definitely am on board with that portion of how that process works. If somebody wanted to get started in the application process, how long does it take? Like, let's say if I was ready today, like, hey, I want to buy a house. I'm in California, so if I'm in a different state, are you guys in Georgia by chance?
We are
Okay.
very active in job
Okay.
market.
So maybe I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm ready to buy. What's the first step? How long before I'm out in the market and actually looking at homes?
So the process is super fast, Eric. I'm very pleased to tell you, as a prop tech company, we have made massive investments in our tech stack. So the application process all in takes 5 minutes. It goes through underwriting, and in 24 hours, underwriting comes back with a budget. And so you're ready to shop after you are assigned a budget and approval letter in your neighborhood or in the city that you live in, and then take things from there.
And so if they don't get qualified for enough to buy a home where they live, it's still just giving them an amount and they can maybe find, a different neighborhood or, different condition style home.
Totally, I agree
Okay.
with you. So, as we give them a budget for the region that they are living in, they are at full freedom to choose whichever neighborhood they want to choose or whichever suburb they want to choose, and then take things from there.
So when they go online, they fill out that application. Is that a hard credit pull? What is that situation?
No, so we don't do hard credit pull at all. That's the last thing we want to do to ding the customer on the credit pull. So it's a very soft credit pull, doesn't get reflected on your credit reports at all.
Awesome. Well, it definitely sounds like a great program. I know we talk a lot about the pros. I always like to have the contingency plans. Everybody's like, what are the pros and the cons? What are some things that could hold them back? And it sounds like mainly just you have very few requirements as far as getting approved, and then it's just getting ready while you're in the home to make sure you're ready after that 3 year term. So I think that's great. When did you guys start this company? What's the background on how or why you even started it?
So Eric, we started this company last year, and the background actually goes back by over 20 years. So uh, I and many other co-founders of Utopia did a long stint in the mortgage industry. I myself used to work with Bank of America Merrill Lynch and then with Citibank in the mortgages business. So had multi-year, multi-cycle, both down cycle and up cycle experiences with the real estate industry, real estate finance in particular, and then all kinds of mortgages and fixed income products. So what we saw was that because of tightening of the underwriting post the financial crisis of 2007 2008, a far higher number of mortgage apps were getting rejected. And so to peel the layers of the onion, there are like over 120 million households in the country, out of which around 40 million plus are renters. Out of
Mhm.
these 40, 45 million households who are renters, 80% of them want to become homeowners. So they are compulsive renters. They're not, renters by choice. So that takes you to around 35 million population. Out of this 35 million population, 8 million households are the ones which could become homeowners with little help from programs like Utopia. And Utopia is actually targeting these 8 million people scattered across these 26 states to assist them in their journey of becoming a homeowner sooner than later. So, the way the program works is that these 8 million people, and that, by the way, is a huge multi trillion dollar market, could come to Utopia, get the home buying budget, go shopping in their respective neighborhoods, bring that property to our knowledge, and then our investment team goes out and acquires the property in all cash deals and lets the person and the household lives in that property. They have complete certainty around how much the rent would increase every year, and it's always very low, you know home price appreciation and very low rental increases on annual basis. That's our commitment to our customers. So every year they are not looking for another property to move to because landlord jacked up the rates or landlord did not let them make those changes that they felt they should have had to make that house their own home, and raise families, build memories there. In the last 20 years, we realized that this problem has become more and more acute, and more so in the last 3 years. American homes have become far less affordable to the average household than they ever were in the modern history of mortgage finance. And the reason is in the last 3 years alone, property prices went up by 35%. And then we are dealing with, 15-year high mortgage rates currently. And that's a double trouble for a household which wants to become a homeowner. Now, combine that with the fact that mortgage app rejection rate currently is hovering around 20%. And this does not include a large set of population which has given up on mortgages, which won't even apply for mortgages knowing that they would not qualify. Utopia is there with the social impact focus to help these households become homeowners sooner than later, and also provide our shareholders a reasonable return on investments. There are many professions which are very critical to our society. And these professions I would like to call out, and I may miss on some professions, so that is no disrespect to them. Like, think about nurses, think about teachers, think about firefighters, police professionals, um, ambulance drivers, hospital workers. All these professions are very critical to the fabric of our society, but yet, the professionals in these professions unfortunately do not make, very high salaries or wages. Now, what it does is that it makes the journey harder for these professionals to become homeowners. So,
Right.
Utopia is there for them every step of the way to make them homeowners sooner than later. And I'm very pleased to announce here that all these professions, have embraced Utopia very well across Midwest and Southeast. The other day, I got a thank you note from the lady who drives the USPS truck, and she said that she had given up on the dream of becoming a homeowner, and thanks to Utopia, she was able to get her first home at the age of 52. So
Awesome.
it's thank you notes like these which brighten our day, and we are fully committed to this journey of making as many people homeowners as possible by using innovative solution like Utopia.
No, that's excellent, and that aligns a lot to what we do with homeowner prep. And I know we talk about getting them into homeownership sooner, which is absolutely great, but also wiser. I think as we educate and let them know, hey, this is what's going on, and here's how we impact your credit, and the financial education and financial literacy also helps them buy sooner because they start to have awareness. And so I think that that's what this type of program brings to the country, these 26 states, hopefully more, and as more and more people in these professions and others continue to grow, I think they'll understand the importance of home buying sooner, buying wiser. So I appreciate that.
Sure. And actually, Eric, I also appreciate the massive positive impact that you're doing in your journey by making more and more people aware of, the homeownership and the benefits of homeownership by prepping them. So kudos to you and your team for doing all the amazing work that you guys are doing on the field.
Awesome. Thank you. No, absolutely. It is a journey for sure. One last thing I do want to touch on, because we talk about the opportunity for these buyers to be able to purchase cash. And that's such a big impact. No matter what the market is doing, cash is always king. And so one aspect of this is actually, you guys are connecting with agents and having your own preferred listing of agents. And so I know we talk mostly to an audience of first-time home buyers, but there are quite a few agents that we work with and know throughout the country. And so we want to also refer them to a program like this because it gives them an opportunity to serve their clients. If their clients aren't quite ready, and they can go out, find a home that they want to live in and start to, really be a homeowner, like you said, paint the walls or do the things that you want to do to your own home. And then the agent actually has the opportunity to buy with a cash offer to help them. I think that that's major as well. So if you're an agent and you're looking to, be a part of a program like this, definitely don't hesitate to reach out to us. We can definitely connect you with them as well. So I think that's awesome. Any last points that you want to make before we wrap up? I want to definitely give you an opportunity and give you the floor to, explain who's that ideal client. And I know we talked a little bit about how they get started, but what's that first step for them?
The ideal customer would be the one who has income of at least $42,000 or more, FICO of 550 or more, is committed to the journey of home ownership and wants to become a homeowner sooner than later, and still is not able to get a mortgage or is not even trying to get a mortgage, knowing that mortgage companies would give that person a cold shoulder. Our application process is 100% free, so you don't pay a single penny to apply through Utopia program. So if you are listening or watching this program, then I strongly encourage you to come to utopiahomes.us and apply for free and get the home of your choice.
Well, I definitely appreciate you coming on and sharing the information about your company. And this is, again, another solution, for folks who aspire to own. I think the action still falls on every individual client to take that first step. And so we don't want to sugarcoat it. It's a home buying process. We want you to take that first step, but we want you to be able to buy your first home sooner and also wiser. So thanks again for coming on and sharing your knowledge with us.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate your having me over and keep up the good work.
Sounds great. Well, if you are interested in this program with Utopia Homes, we can definitely connect you with them and answer any additional questions that you might have. If you're looking to get started with homeowner prep and kind of figuring out what's the next step for you, you can visit our website at homeownerprep.com/start. And that's how you can book a free consultation with us and get started in your process. I appreciate you coming in, listening to this great interview. Hopefully you got some great, valuable information, and I look forward to providing you with some more great information on the next episode. So until then, be blessed. If you've enjoyed this show and got some great value from it, please be sure to rate and review. And if you're checking it out on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe. That really does help us to continue the show and bring in some great guests to help you on your home buying journey.